You're eating the organic greens, you're hydrating, you've skipped the dessert tray. So why do you feel like your battery is at 2%? Today, we're exposing the hidden tax of the holidays. It's not the food, you guys. It's the silent collapse of your nervous system boundaries. So let's look at why your energy is leaking and how we can actually plug the drain and keep it for you. Welcome to True Wellness with Dr. D, the podcast where we explore what it takes to live with vitality, balance, and purpose. I am Dr. D, and each week I'll bring you powerful tools, inspiring stories, and expert insights to help you thrive in every area of your life, from health and wellness to mindset and navigating life's challenges. This podcast is your guide to creating a life of true well-being. Be sure to check the show notes and grab your free copy of the True Wellness Checklist so you can get started on your journey to true wellness right away. Now, let's get started. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I'm Dr. D, and I want to start today by talking to the woman who feels like she's failing at feeling good. You know who you are. You're that high achiever, the one who researches like the best supplements, the one who knows exactly which foods are going to trigger her inflammation. And yet here we are in the middle of the holiday season and you're exhausted. You're like, what the heck is going on? But this is a very specific kind of exhaustion. It's not the I stayed up too late dancing kind of tired. It's that heavy bone deep fatigue. It's the brain fog that makes it hard to remember, why you walked into a room or where your phone is or where your glasses are. I mess that one up all the time. But it's the immediate reaction for a woman like you to start to perform this immediate dietary autopsy, looking at everything that she's eating, looking at all the stuff that's happening. And you look back at the last 24 hours and you're like, okay, were there seed oils at that dinner party that I ate? Did I have some sort of hidden source of gluten? Or was it that one glass of champagne or wine that I had? We treat our bodies like a simple machine sometimes. Fuel in, energy out. And I want to offer you a very different perspective. I mean, what if I told you that your clean eating is actually becoming completely neutralized by your nervous system overload? Overload. You heard me. So if your body is a house, your food is the fuel that actually runs the furnace of that house, right? It's your electricity, it's your gas, it's your oil, whatever it is that you use for your house. But if all the windows in your house are broken and the front door is hanging off the hinges, it doesn't matter how good the quality is, the gas, the oil, the wood, or whatever that you're putting into the fire, because the heat is just escaping from all different directions. So today we're going to talk about those broken windows and the boundary collapses, right? And the physiological invisible labor that's actually wrecking your energy. In other words, what's going on inside that's really creating this energy drain, even if it looks like you're eating the right things, you're doing your best during the holiday season to align with what it is that you think that your body needs. So let's start by going into the physiology, because I really want you to understand that this isn't all in your head. How many of you have been told that, right? You've gone to the doctor and they're like, sorry, it's all in your head. And I want you to understand that it's not, because energy is actually a physical currency. And in the world of functional medicine, we talk about what's called an allostatic load. And this is a concept. It was popularized by Dr. Bruce McEwen. And I want you to think about it as the cost of chronic stress. Every time your body has to adapt to a new stress stress, like whether it's, a cold virus that's going around this time of year, or a work deadline, or some sort of passive aggressive comment that, a relative made during the holidays. All of those things cost you energy. Okay. Every single one of them. Now, here's the part that most people miss. Okay. And it's what's called social masking. So for high performing women, the holidays, they're like a marathon of like social engagement after social engagement after social engagement. You're like running all the way to all these different things, making sure that everything's taken care of. Maybe you're baking Christmas cookies. Maybe you're, having to go to all the different holiday parties. You're needing to make sure that you get your Christmas cards out or some Christmas post or what have you. Well, I'm just tired talking about all that, right? So, according to polyvagal theory, which is a theory that was founded by Dr. Stephen Porges, we have this social engagement system and it's governed by our ventral vagal nerve. Okay. And when we feel safe, this system actually, it allows us to connect. It allows us to talk. It allows us to relax. But when we are in a room filled with, people who don't feel entirely safe, right? And you pick this up from other people, maybe it's, family tension, or maybe there's tension at work, or sometime for me, it's like that pressure to perform like the perfect hostess, like I just did my daughter's birthday party and I needed to make sure, okay, the house is fully clean and we're doing the best activities with the kids for the holiday. I need to make sure I have the best food to serve to all the parents and all the kids and make sure everybody's happy. Well, when we're in those modes, you guys, our nervous system actually shifts and we start masking, right? We soften our faces. We pitch our voices to sound more pleasant. Hi, how are you? Happy holidays. Isn't this wonderful, right? And we suppress internally that like ick in order to keep the peace. And so, here's the science behind the drain, right? Research shows that when we're inhibiting motion, when we're putting that smile on our face, but we're really feeling stressed, the act of actually not saying what you feel, okay, actually consumes a whole lot amounts of energy. Okay. Specifically, it is going to consume significant amounts of blood glucose. So your brain, it uses 20% of your body's total energy. So when you're in this place where you're socially masking, pretending that everything is great and you're so happy and there is no stress, and you guys, I'm not saying go dump on everybody. That's not what I'm saying, right? But I'm saying to be true to yourself and where you're at and communicating that and setting up the environment so that you're not stuck in that place. And we'll talk about that. But when you're socially masking, what happens is your prefrontal cortex, it's literally working on overload because what is it's doing? It's policing your behavior. It's making sure you don't fly off the handle. It's making sure you don't come across rude, or it's making sure you don't say the wrong things. And that's why you can like eat this perfect low glycemic meal, but you walk away from this like 3-hour holiday party where you ate everything you thought was right. And you're feeling like your blood sugar has actually crashed because your brain has literally burned the fuel just trying to keep your mouth shut and your smile in place. Imagine that. Well, this is not something that people talk about, right? Nobody's talking about, hey, how do you avoid gaining weight through the holidays? Hey, how do you avoid, this up and down crash? But this is it, you guys, right? Because here, when this is happening, you aren't crashing from sugar. You're actually crashing from, we're going to call it inhibition fatigue. Okay. So you're tired from just inhibiting yourself. And you guys, this is the holiday season. So it's a perfect time to highlight these things. But this is an ongoing thing that happens all the time. So if you're wondering, why you're coming home maybe from work or from a family event and you're like completely exhausted and completely drained, well, this can be part of it, and I want to tell you about one of our clients, and just to respect her, we'll call her Sarah, okay? And Sarah is a CEO, okay? She runs her own marketing company. She is a mom of three, and she has an autoimmune condition, and she manages it with like military precision. And last year she came into me, it was early January, and she was devastated. She's like, Dr. D, I followed the protocol perfectly. Okay. I brought my own meals to my parents' house. She brought platters of food that she knew that she could eat and share. She's like, I didn't touch any dairy. I didn't have anything that have sugar in it. But I've spent the last 3 days in bed with a flare up. What is going on? I mean, she literally felt like her body was revolting against her, because here she was like doing everything that she thought was right. I mean, how frustrating is that? How many of you do that? Like, you're like, my God, I don't understand. I did all the right things, right? But sometimes there's so much going on here. So I started to dig with her. I'm like, all right, Sarah, I'm going to get used to calling her Sarah here for this example, but we dug in deeper, because it it wasn't that we needed to look at her plate, right? And look at what she was eating. What we needed to look at was her internal sovereignty, right? We needed to look at what it was and how she was spending her time and what was going on underneath. You see, Sarah spent 5 days in a house with her family while she was away, where like her boundaries were stepped on every hour. Her mother made comments, her siblings, when they were there, it was like all emotional labor to her. So this was not a holiday of peace and enjoyment. It was a holiday of like maintaining her composure. And she didn't want to argue back when things were said. She really just wanted to keep the peace. Anybody follow that? So what happened was she was actually what we would call a high tone sympathetic arousal, right? For literally, it was like days, 120 hours straight that she was in this space. So her body was literally flooded with cortisol and adrenaline. So yeah, there was no lion chasing her, but she was still in this constant state of angst. And I mean, here's the clinical truth. So cortisol is a master hormone and it overrides everything. Okay. I've always said, you've heard me say time and time again in this podcast, or if you're listening and you're a client, you've heard me say over and over again, you could have the perfect diet, you could take the perfect supplements, you could do everything perfectly. But if you're running around stressed out all the time, it don't matter, right? It just doesn't matter. So when your cortisol is constantly high because you're feeling like invaded, or you're feeling unseen, or you're feeling like you have to hide, you have like this fear, whether it's conscious or unconscious, what happens is, your digestive fire shuts down. So your hydrochloric acid is not working anymore. Okay. Your thyroid conversion slows down, so your T4 to T3 conversion slows down, so you can't use those thyroid hormones. And then what starts happening is your gut lining starts leaking. And so Sarah didn't eat the inflammation, she actually generated the inflammation from the inside out. Okay, because her nervous system didn't have a single moment of true safety. And everyone always like, I have colleagues and they're like so surprised about the way that we practice in my clinical practice at South Bay Wellness, because there is so much importance for us on that feeling of safety, on that nervous system regulation. But this is the exact reason why. Right? This is the exact reason why. And so many people get stuck in this trap, especially around the holiday time. Okay. And yes, we're going to talk about different things that you can do here. Okay. But I want you to I want you to visualize your energy as like a biological battery. And most of us think we have one drain on that battery, and it's like activity. It's like what we're doing. Like we think if we don't exercise too hard and we eat well, that battery will stay full. Or, if we aren't running around all the time, if we just like sit on the couch and watch movies all the time, then we'll keep that battery full. But you guys, it's like there are ghost apps, right? The things that run on your phone that you don't see. You go in when you're running out of storage. You're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that thing was running. So imagine that that's what's happening. So there's like an anticipatory app, and you're wondering like, okay, is everyone having a good time? I do this all the time when I have company, you guys. It is like when company leaves, I am like exhausted, and the next day I am exhausted. And the reason is because these are the things that are happening, right? So there's that anticipation app. There's the cleanup app, right? The app that's literally like picking up like maybe physical things, like cleaning up all over the place. But maybe there's like also emotional slack that you're picking up, whether it's for yourself or for others or something like that. There's a comparison app. So, looking at, so and so looks so relaxed, or look at what's happening there. And you're in your head now comparing yourself to how others seem, right? While you're like vibrating with with all of this tension. So you can see like those are just some examples, you guys. You know the kind of the programs that are always kind of running in the back of your head. Maybe it's not anticipation, or maybe it's not cleaning up, or maybe it's not comparing, maybe it's some other app, I'm going to call it, going on in the background that's taking up your energy. And really, this is where the boundary gets collapsed, because a boundary it's not just about saying no to an invitation, right? A boundary is like your energetic skin. It keeps yourself separate from others, right? It keeps self separate from them. And when that skin gets really thin, you start to absorb like the stress now of every other person in the room. Okay. So now it's not just what you're experiencing, but now you're picking up on everybody else's tension. I know some of you are probably way more sensitive than others in this area, but it becomes a problem, right? So imagine like your brain is what's one of the browsers, like Chrome, right? Imagine your brain is like Chrome. If you see mine, you guys, I've got like 50 different tabs open on my browser. But imagine your brain is a browser, and eating fine is like having a really fast internet connection. Okay. So it's great. But if you're like me and you've got 50 tabs open and each one is like representing some sort of unexpressed need or some suppressed frustration or some kind of like worry, then eventually that computer is going to freeze. Like literally for me with my 50 tabs open, there are times that I really do need to go and literally shut my computer down so that I can get it to function. In fact, before I went to record this podcast, the camera stopped working for whatever reason, and I needed to actually restart the computer so that the camera could connect to the system properly. And I'm sure it has to do with all those different things that are happening in the background. So like for me and my computer, I don't need a faster computer. I actually need to close some stuff and turn some stuff off. And that's exactly like our bodies, right? Like when we're stressed out, it's not like we need maybe more supplements. We actually just kind of need to close some of the tabs. And you guys know, I think supplements are a really important part of us maintaining optimal health, given our environment and our food supply and all of that. But more is not always a better thing. So sometimes it's just about shutting down. So if you're listening to this and you realize that your energy is like it's wrecked because of your nervous system, not your nutrition, then what do? Right? How do we actually solve this problem so that you can get some relief for the long term, especially during this stressful time when we've got everybody's different energy coming at us. Some people handle the holidays really well, others are chronically stressed out. So, where are you in that? And then, where are you picking up on other people's energy? So, the first thing I want you to do is just stop and get present, right? If you feel tired, don't ask, like, what did I do wrong? Ask, okay, where did I leave my power today? So take a moment, right? Like right now, and just check in with yourself and notice kind of where your energy is at right now. How does your body feel? And then ask yourself, like, where did I leave my power today? And you guys, we all, I always joke with our clients at South Bay Wellness. It's like none of us is perfect, right? And we never, in this evolution of maintaining, you know, good balance for our body and maintaining our, transformation in life and achieving more and doing what we want and reaching for our goals and our dreams and all that, we never like actually arrive. There's always something to work on. And so for me, like when I'm like, okay, well, where did I leave my power today? I know where I left my power today, right? With my kids, I was like, hey guys, I really want to make sure that we accomplish these things. And sometimes, I've got 3 teenagers and an 8-year-old. Yeah, it's sometimes I think things fall on deaf ears. So if I had to think about, okay, so where did my energy go? That would be one place that my energy went. But where did it go for you? Did you have a phone call with someone and that phone call didn't go well? Did you have a worry about someone? Were you racing to get someplace to be on time? So when we think about optimizing during the holidays or during busy times of our life, it's not just about food management. Okay. It's really about safety management, allowing your body to feel safe. So if you know that you're going to have to go into a high intensity social situation, and I'll tell you, I mean, we have a lot of clients who are, they're senior executives, they're CEOs like Sarah, they're entrepreneurs, and they are go, go, go. And they do have a lot of high intensity situations that they deal with. I have one client right now who's, responsible for doing layoffs at her company. And this is not what she wants to be doing. So the question is, how do you bring yourself to the space of safety so that you can manage through this specific time in your life? So one of the things that I teach is what I call the 10-minute sovereignty buffer, right? Keeping your sovereignty. So before you walk through the door of work, or before the guests arrive, or before you walk in and you're like sitting in your car, like just take some time. And I always say, one hand over your heart and the other hand over your belly, and just breathe, right? Just really connect to yourself, connect to your body, and breathe until you can like feel your heart beating. You can feel the weight of your body, and remind your nervous system, like, I am here. I am in charge of this body, of this vessel. I do not have to absorb what isn't mine. And give your body that real sense to come back to safety. You guys, sometimes it's like a dance, right? In some situations and that we're in our lives, it's a dance. It's like you've got to like recognize, like, okay, oh, look at that. I'm like, my body's on high alert. Let me take a deep breath. Let me come back to myself. Let me go to the bathroom if I need to do that in private, right? And then you go back out and you go back and dance with life. And then you might realize, like, oh, look at that, I'm in that state again. And then you go back and you keep bringing yourself back to the safety. And one of the things that you're also doing is establishing trust with yourself, establishing trust with your own body, so that you on the inside, like, okay, I'm going to take care of me. I am going to keep me safe. And this is really important, you guys, because this is going to prevent that total energy drain, right? It's about disconnecting all those things that are running. Okay. So I have some goals for you this week, something that I want you to work on, okay? I want you to identify one of those open tabs. One of the open tabs that are kind of going on for you. One place where you're over functioning, where you're social masking, pretending that everything's okay. And I want you to just like close it. Say no to one optional thing. Or better yet, like tell the truth about how you're feeling. Hey, I'm feeling really nervous right now. Oh, I'm feeling really stressed because company's coming soon. And label it and name it and to experience it so that you can actually move through it and move past it. Okay. Instead of maybe masking it. And just watch, right? Watch how your body responds. You might find that the best superfood, the best superfood in the world is simply a well-placed boundary. So try that this holiday season. I'm Dr. D. Protect your peace and your energy will follow. I'll see you the next episode. This is Dr. D reminding you to tune into your body, connect with what matters, and embrace the journey to true wellness. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's ready to redefine their health. Be sure to grab a copy of the True Wellness Checklist right in the show notes. Let's keep redefining wellness and empowering change together. See you for the next episode.